Well folks, we've finally made it to the end, as the Bachelor in Paradise finale is next week, and there we'll be seeing which couples make it, which couples break things off, and which couples get engaged. Plus, there is an After the Final Rose that looks to be legitimately wild, especially considering some of the post-show news that's come out from some of the Bachelor alumni. So, for one more time this season, let's break down this preview and see if we can sleuth out the fates of each of the remaining couples, and as per usual, there's only one rule here. Please, no posting any outright spoilers in the comment section below unless it can be backed up with sleuthing, and a link to the full preview is in the description.
As of right now, Paradise is over.
I don't understand.
Everything has led to this.
Alright, so before we continue, I just want everyone to take a moment and pat themselves on the back, because this season has been a marathon and we're nearly done. 16 episodes is a lot more than usual, but we're here. And in this initial section of the preview, we're getting a good look at the outcome of one of the major couples of this season, Michael and Danielle. Now here we get a string of concerning shots with these two. Michael seemingly upset, someone packing their bags, Michael and Danielle walking towards an SUV, then Danielle entering the SUV alone, which seems to imply that there's a breakup on the horizon for these two. However, I think the preview is being intentionally misleading. First off, we don't know if Michael is crying here because he's in pain or because he has an itch. Something we now know is not a low-level form of pain. And then this shot, the ominous one of someone packing their bags, does not match the shorts that Danielle is wearing in this shot as they head out of Paradise. Then in this shot, while Danielle is alone in the SUV, she's also just entering it, meaning there's nothing to suggest that Michael couldn't also be headed into the SUV with her. Now there will be another crying shot later on that shows Danielle and Michael have some sort of tough conversation, but these two's relationship will not be ending here. Mostly because, as we've talked about before on this channel, Michael and Danielle were seen together in the very public wedding photos from Wells' wedding, which took place after Paradise was filmed. So, these two are going to be one of the couples that choose not to go to a fantasy suite and a potential engagement, but still end up together. Which I think makes sense considering Danielle hasn't even met Michael's son yet. Now, some of the other interesting shots from this first section include the one that at first glance looked like Johnny and Victoria to me, a shot of a woman leaving the last rose ceremony before decision day that I think is Mara, and Genevieve running on the beach. A shot that looks like decision day, but she might be running after one of her friends who just got dumped. A common sight on decision day where the couples will choose to head to fantasy suites and a potential engagement, or not. But it's this shot of a couple hugging at the exit of Paradise that I want to revisit. So here it's the blonde looking hair that really throws me. But if we jump back to this quick shot where someone's shaded due to the video transition from the preview, we can still manage to see that the person here is Tyler, and his gray shirt could definitely be a match for the gray shirt here, meaning this is likely Tyler and Brittany. But again, just because these two people are here doesn't mean that they've broken up. They've already made declarations that they want to leave Paradise together on their last one-on-one. I'd wager that remains true. Really, all this means is that they won't be moving on to a fantasy suite and a potential engagement. But alright, that was a lot in this first section. Let's continue on.
Do they see themselves getting engaged possibly? Or do they see themselves breaking up?
It's the shocking two-night finale event.
Complete disrespect.
So in this section, we get a good look at the last rose ceremony of the season where the men will be handing out the roses. Interesting thing to note is that in this shot, Mara is missing, while in this shot, we can see her walking towards the rose ceremony, which I think solidifies the idea that this woman is Mara leaving because she has no one to give her a rose. But with 8 men, 8 women, and 8 roses to give out, what's the point of even having a rose ceremony? Well, here it looks like there's one more dramatic event to happen that night. Something we'll talk about in a bit, so let's keep going.
I'm looking for a husband, not a TikTok boyfriend.
Who will commit?
I still think about our night down by the beach.
If I accept this rose, it's serious.
Alright, pausing here on Kate because I think this could be the setup for that dramatic event at the upcoming rose ceremony. So we know something happens due to this reaction, and Kate is talking about how serious accepting this rose would be. We also know that Gabby and Rachel just crapped all over Logan to Kate last episode. If there's room for something dramatic at the rose ceremony, perhaps it's going to be with these two. There's also some more footage to add to this theory later on. Other than that, we also get Shanae saying, "I want a husband, not a TikTok boyfriend," and that, paired with the other shot of her looking upset here, makes me think that things don't work out with her and her twin. Shocker, I know. Perhaps he offers to leave Paradise together and that's not what she wants, thus the comment on wanting a husband, not a TikTok boyfriend. I guess we'll see. Moving on.
Whose love will grow stronger?
My soulmate is right here.
And whose relationships will come to a dramatic end?
They're done.
Okay, now here we're getting some interesting footage. First, it's a look at Brandon and Serene's fantasy suite date, which will definitely lead to them getting engaged. We've speculated all season that this engagement shot is with these two, but with how they've acted all season, you don't need sleuthing to see that Brandon and Serene are going to get engaged. Next, there's that shot of Danielle in tears that I mentioned earlier, but again, we know the fate of these two, and finally there's this shot, Logan looking shocked, and Kate walking away. This, paired with the shot of Victoria, Florence, and Genevieve's reactions, points to this being Kate declining Logan's rose at the rose ceremony ahead. Now honestly, I was hoping it would be the other way around, but with the setup of Kate talking about the seriousness of accepting this rose, on top of the conversation she had with Gabby and Rachel the other episode, I think Kate's going to drop a bomb on poor Logan and leave. Which is honestly the best thing to ever happen to Logan. He comes off looking better than he ever has before on this show, and better yet, he gets out of a toxic relationship. But let's continue.
Engagement, it's a big deal for me, and I'm not just gonna be like, yeah, I want to because you say you want to.
I just never thought that would happen.
And then, all the cast return to talk about the craziest season ever.
Okay, so before we get into the tell-all, we have one last section with Johnny and Victoria during their fantasy suite. Now here, these two will be talking about engagements, something Johnny wasn't ready for with Gabby, but his tune might be changing for Victoria. But we know that these two are definitely going to get engaged, as we've talked about before, because this engagement shot matches up with the ring and nails that Victoria has displayed all season. However, there's one more bit of information that wildly shakes up this relationship that was spoiled by a Bachelor alumni a couple of weeks ago. I'll save that for the end of the video in case some of you would rather not know, but it's pretty insane information. Otherwise, I'm going to actually skip over this tell-all section of the preview because none of the footage seen here is actually from the Paradise tell-all. Like in this shot, you can literally see that this was taken from the Bachelorette men tell-all. All of this footage was taken from stuff like Clayton's season tell-all, or Katie's tell-all, or any other tell-all. It's nothing new, so let's get to that final rose ceremony footage.
Who will get engaged? And will anyone get married?
Do you want to get married right here, right now?
And there the preview ends, on Jesse Palmer offering to marry someone on the beach right then and there. Now, if anyone's going to do that, it's Brandon and Serene. So up until this point in the video, we've talked about the outcomes of every couple except Florence and the other twin, and Aaron and Genevieve. Obviously, Flo and twin B are breaking up. With her being from Australia, it'd be a pretty lengthy long-distance relationship for a couple that's barely spent any time together. But as for Aaron and Genevieve, that's the more interesting one. I could see these two leaving together, I could see these two breaking up, I could see these two having a fantasy suite that implodes. But probably the wildest bit of news that will have ramifications heading into the After the Final Rose is this.
Warning! 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 Warning!
Warning, while this is something that is public information at this point due to it being spoiled by former Bachelor Nick Viall, it is a heavy spoiler for the end of the finale, so it walks the line of our spoiler rules. So, if you don't want to know it, this is your last chance to back out. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Nick Viall posted a TikTok, and in it was Victoria F snuggling up and kissing Greg from Katie's season of The Bachelorette. Yup, Greg and Victoria are now in a relationship. So I believe this information has been swirling around the Bachelor sphere before this, but this is how the information got to me and a lot of others who happen to scroll through the TikToks of Bachelor alumni. And all of this is wild. Apparently a lot has happened since Paradise finished filming if Victoria's gone from being engaged to in a relationship with Greg. At this point, I don't know any of the details, I don't know why this has happened, but boy is it gonna set us up for an incredibly anticipated tell-all after what I think was an incredibly exhausting season. So that's it for this finale preview breakdown for Bachelor in Paradise. Thanks for watching the video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like, comment your thoughts and theories down below, and subscribe to the channel, as there's always more content on the way. And until next time, Bachelor Fantake, out.
Engagement, it's a big deal for me, and I'm not just gonna be like, yeah, I want to because you say you want to.
I just never thought that would happen.